Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Mars, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday. If not, at least you got through the work part of your Friday. And now it's time for the weekend. You know what we do here on Fridays, brothers and sisters, as much as we can? That's right. It is Friday's Funny. Friday Funnies. And today's Friday Funny, the theme is religion can be funny. Again, the theme is religion can be funny. And I'm not talking about some people that we're not making jokes about God and deities and nothing like that. I'm just talking about sometimes when you're in church or you're in the mosque or you're wherever you are in a synagogue. It's some stuff that's just funny. I believe that Allah introduces this divine humor to break up the monotony. Sometimes being in a place without that monotony, it'd be a boring service. You know what I'm saying? A boring service. And I think we need to say that because I was pulling up stuff, a couple clips here and there. Now, like I said, I grew up Christian, right? I grew up Christian, and it was just funny things in the Christian church. Everything from marriages to Easter to holidays to football season to funerals. There was always something. Even on the saddest occasion, we all had a little something to laugh about. You know what I mean? We always had a little something to laugh about. Now, on the Muslim side, I'm gonna try and work with us. We need to get a little bit more funnier because I'm like, man, you have to make your own fun in the Muslim community a lot of times. I love us, but sometimes we're just too tight. You gotta have a joke. I had a young Muslim come up to me and he didn't know anything about Islam. He was like, I'm new to the religion. I don't know anything. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. He said, I just took my shahada. I was like, go ahead, dude. It was a white convert. I just took my shahada. I was like, what'd you take? My shahada. I said, was it your shahada? Your shahada? He said, my shahada. Okay. And he was like, well, I need to know, when is the main prayer for Muslims? Like in church, we go on Sundays. I said, really? You don't know? He said, yeah. I said, listen, brother, you're a Muslim. The prayer is called Juma prayer. It happens usually about 1:30. He said, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, and you have to make sure that you are there 1:30 every Saturday. I'm no good. And I called the brother. I was like, hey, you got a white boy coming down there. He thinks June's on Saturday. Just roll with me for a week. Roll with me for a week. You got to have fun. When I first became Muslim, I'm going to tell y'all something. I showed up for Juma. I showed up early. I shouldn't have done that. I showed up early. And I got there, and nobody's really saying anything to me. I'm supposed to be learning about the religion. I get up there, and brothers and sisters, it was just a wide open space. And I started setting up chairs. I was like, well, I'm gonna be a help to my brothers and sisters. They were like, what are you doing? I'm like, yo, ain't nobody got no chairs. I said, we need more chairs because it was only like 12. They were like, brother, please don't put up another chair. Please don't put up another chair. And like I said, I know about those chairs too. All the old heads sit in those chairs. And talk about the young heads. That's what I pulled an Achilles one time, and I sat back there. You should hear the things they say about us young fellas. I'm like, you old dudes, but they get it in, And just so you know, there should be a sign put up by those chairs for the elderly, with an age requirement. And the age requirement say you are not allowed to sit here in this group of chairs unless you're at least 111 years old. And that's it. I think that's average age is 111 years old. WD Muhammad community, we don't have any youth anymore. Our average youth is like 46 years old, divorced with 2 kids. We running out of youth. Some of y'all ain't gonna laugh, but man, that's funny. That's funny. And other thing, man, when people why do people bring their kids to church thinking somehow that a divine presence is going to make these kids act right? Why do they do that? It's in every church. Muslims, they just come to an event, they just leave their kids off. Literally, like, here, take the key, drive yourself, pick us up at 11. I know you're only 6. That's the way it is. We get in the match and we just let it loose. Same thing happens in the Christian church. Christian black church, though, it doesn't happen like that. You see a kid climbing up on top of a table and dancing, it's gonna be a funeral right there. It's one time, and a black mom in a Christian church, she won't even say anything. She get this look right here. Normally that will stop the heart of a young child. But for those who don't, that funeral is usually the week afterwards, because you gotta have relatives come in town. All right, brothers and sisters. So look, we're gonna get back to it. We have some fun, we have some frivolity, and we just had some honest conversations about, of course, religious services. I got some things queued up. You brothers and sisters, stick around, come back. We're ready to start the show. This is Preach Moss, the SOS. Let's hit it. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Appreciate you for tuning in. Now, I couldn't really get into talking about, funny church scenes or things that are funny in church without mentioning my man, Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor played a reverend in several of his skits. In the Richard Pryor show, he played a minister. In Which Way Is Up, he played a minister. Also, he played Daddy Rich in Car Wash. And so Richard Pryor was one of the first ideas I saw of actually a minister. And he was so funny, he make you kind of want to go to church, and then you would go thinking your minister was like Richard Pryor, and you would be hugely disappointed, brothers and sisters, hugely disappointed. You realize how gifted Richard Pryor was. And you know what? These people, they weren't as funny as Richard Pryor. They weren't as gifted. They weren't great public speakers in some regards, but you gave them credit because they showed up every Sunday in the name of the Lord, for whatever that meant when you were 6, 7 years old. But they showed up. It meant something to my mom. And, I realize now why black moms make their kids go to church. They want to acquaint them with where they may wind up if they get out of line. Like, that'll be you stretched right out front of everybody. Keep messing around in school again. See that space right underneath the preacher? That's gonna be you. And it's just a fun thing, man. And half the time, it's just community. It's just community. Because I'm gonna be really honest. You have some ministers that went to theological school, seminaries, and you had guys that they came up from the South. They've been doing it. They've been called to it. That's what I miss, man. When people are called to religion, that was always fun. Because those are people, man, they were the most organic, and they were the ones that had the most fun. You know what I mean? They had the most fun, and then they made it fun for everybody else. So before we get started, we're going to jump into our comment section really quickly before I also get started. Anybody that's coming on the show for the first time, thank you for coming on the show. This is a shout out show. I'm Preacher Moss, the host, but I'm not the owner of the platform. It is the people. The people that make the show what it is. The special group of people that I call the shout out soldiers, the stars in the building, the shout out family. And they come here every day, man, and they make this thing work for us. In case you don't know, we're over 400 consecutive shows in a row. Now, it would be easy for me to say that it was something I did or we had a special formula. It's not. It's the people. And the people come, they want to be entertained, they want to be informed. And as long as we can do it and we're blessed to do it, inshallah, we're going to do it. See how that works? All right. I'm almost like the reverends, except for they only come on Sunday. I come every day. All right. So we're going to start out real quick. Who we got in the box today? We got Sister Ree. We'll give a shout out, everybody. Sister Ree, thank you so much. Sister Ree is so kind, and her son is so forgiving. Essentially, in case you guys didn't know what happened with Sister Ree and I, Sister Ree took a trip, and she entrusted me with her goldfish, Ivory. And long story, I killed Ivory. That's what happened. I don't know anything about it. I was feeding him, like I said, and I decided to change the water to give the fish clean water. Maybe I should have used Fiji water or Evian or something. I gave it some chlorine water out of the tap, and the fish was like Fred Sanford, like, "Hey, I'm coming, I'm coming to join you." Actually, I didn't know that you have to have water softener and things like that. So I remember that. Forgive me for that, but we'll move on. And Sister Reed's like, "That's right, and I will never trust you with any of my fish." Okay, I understand, Sister Reed. Good to have you on the show. Next up, we have our ambassador, our resident ambassador, my main man, Altaf Rashid. Altaf, thanks for coming on the show, brothers and sisters. Brother Altaf, I said brothers and sisters. I don't know why I even say that. I think when I say Canada, I'm thinking of more people than you, Altaf, because you're an ambassador. You're representing. But I want to say thank you for coming on the show. In this show, also, Altaf, we're talking about religion can be funny. If you have anything to offer about things that may be funny stories, like I have funny stories from the masjid. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them revolve around actually who does what in the masjid. Also, food. Food is a big thing in the masjid. Food is a big thing in the masjid. Here's the deal. Just because Allah blesses you with the blessing to have food that you can cook, doesn't mean that you should cook for other people. That food is just for you in your space, because God only wants you to poison those in your space who have the stomach and capacity to handle that food. All right. Also, I want to give a shout out. My mama's Reverend, his name is Reverend John Johnson III, First Baptist Church of Glen Arden. Good man, horrible public speaker. I'll get back to that later. All right. Now, who we at next? My main man, brother, my little brother, JT. How you doing, Locke? It's good to see you I've been seeing you all week, man. I know we're due for a call. I know we were going back and forth with the Milwaukee Bucks game. I'm going to tell you something. They ain't going to make it out. I love you, my brother. I never lied to you in my life, but Brooklyn's going to take them out because they were barely hanging on. And I'm going to be honest, that last shot of KD, I thought it was going down. It looked good. But I don't know, Ak. I don't know, man. I'm Milwaukee. My heart's in Milwaukee and everything, but they just didn't look good last night. So I just had to put that out there. It was too long to put in the text, so I'm just giving it to you now. And now, JT, I know you have some funny church stories too. All right. Next up, we got Adam Khan. Adam Khan, I'm going to see if you recognize this clip. You might be too young for this clip. This movie, and I'm going to show it, is Richard Pryor playing the Reverend Lennox Thomas. Now, what's important is in the movie, which way is up? Richard Pryor played 3 roles. He played Leroy, he played Leroy's dad, and he played the Reverend Lennox Thomas. So I know people talk about the clumps and things like that, but Richard Pryor did it first. So even Eddie Murphy will tell you that Richard Pryor did it first, and he did it well, brothers and sisters. You know why? Because every character looked like Richard Pryor, because they didn't really have prosthetics back then. Everything looked like Richard Pryor, but he brought this different dynamic to every character. All right, who we got next? Oh, Sister Rabina in the building. How are you, sister? So good to see you back on a broadcast. I hope you are doing well. Your family's doing well. You up late? What's happening? You got insomnia? What's happening? We've been missing you, sister, but we're glad to have you on the show. I'm just happy to have you back. Thank you for coming on the show and dropping them. So for those who don't know, Sister Rabina is part of the Shout Out Show royalty. She goes and comes as she wants to. She's like Shout Out Show Tablighi Jamaat. You come and go whenever you want to, sister. We are there for you. All right, who we got next? Okay, we're gonna have a one-on-one fish class. There you go. And the killer part was, here's the killer part about the fish. This is not funny. Before I started the Shout Out Show, the fish was like laying down, like it eating too much. And I tapped the thing and it went up to the top. And I was like, oh, there you go, guy. When I came back, I tapped him and he was like, it was no good. It was no good, man. It was horrible. And then Reed pulled up. I was like, you won't believe this one. I don't believe it. I was like, I can't believe he didn't hang on. He was so happy. And then it was gone. That's the way. That's life. I don't know if that's fish life. It is. Let me get off this fish. And we got Sister Sultana in the building, working the ones and twos of the productions, making sure that every graphic goes up the way it's supposed to. and we come in and we come out and we make sure that we give you guys a wonderful presentation. Thank you very much, Sister Satana. So I talked about religion can be funny. I am going to start out with one of the funniest clips ever. And if you've never been to a Christian church, I'm gonna tell you something. If you haven't been to a Christian church, it's different because you have different. What am I thinking? Trying to say you have different things. So I'm going to show you this clip, and then I'm going to break something out a little bit better, and we're really going to have some fun. So I'm going to show you Richard Pryor. This is Richard Pryor from Which Way Is Up. He plays the Reverend Lennox Thomas. Okay, so everybody stick in.
As you know, last year, the parishioners here in the church gave me this healing glove that I might do the work of the Lord because I have healing power. Now, I'll put my hand in my platinum healing glove. As you know, last week, a man came in with one leg shorter than the other, and I healed him. Who will be Christ amongst you?
I will.
You will, brother? And what is your name and what is your problem?
Harold Washington, my feet.
Harold Washington, your feet. What can I do for you and your feet, Harold?
Make me whole again. Let me be quick and graceful. Let me dance and run and race.
Harold. Snap out of it, Harold. You want an awful lot for $2, Harold. We can't do that today. But if you come back Christmas Eve, that's when we're healing. I'll be glad to do it. Here's your $2. You take a seat over there by the blind fellow.
I'm sorry, folks. Now, for some of y'all thinking, "Oh my gosh, that's the way old black men used to be." Not these soft brothers out here, and "Oh, I'm so sorry," and all into their feelings. No, they were men. They were men. They were minister, but they were men. They tell you that, "Harold, you want a whole lot for your $2?" That's what we need a little bit more. That's what we need. Just a little bit, you know. It's just like religion can be funny. Here's the thing. If you've ever converted to Islam, the first thing you want to do is get a hold of the language because you want to fit in. So you want to know everything about it. Inshallah, subhanallah, mashallah. Okay. There was this one brother, and essentially he wanted to do the same thing I had done. But I was like, hey, let's have a little fun with him. So we made up a word, and he was so excited and said, whenever you feel good, use this word. Now, the term is jahiliya, but we told him it was jambalaya. We thought that he would figure out that we were joking until he got in a group of people, and he said, they said, "Brother, welcome to this religion." He said, "I'm just so happy to be up out of the jambalaya." They said, "What?" He said, "You know what? There's nothing good in the jambalaya." And we were like, "Tell us more, brother." He got excited. There's a lot of evil in the jambalaya. One brother was like, "I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm hungry." Talking about jambalaya, I'm Geechee. But I'm gonna bring this one up. So the reason I'm gonna bring this up, brothers and sisters, and let me fix it for you. I just saw this on the internet. Going through trying to find some clips. You know how hard it is to find clips. Number one, you want them to be appropriate. You don't want a bunch of profanity. Then number two is you want to make sure that you don't tap into something that's licensed, and then YouTube comes and messes up your show. This is what happens. I found this young comedian. I have not seen him in person. I saw this clip. Not that the clip is funny. Don't get me wrong. The clip's funny, but it's not like I haven't seen it before. It's funny, but it's not like Richard Pryor funny. Richard Pryor brings a whole nother character to it. And we've seen this before. But I thought it was funny because he made this distinction between black and white churches. Hear what I'm saying. Black and white churches. Hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thought. Because when I come back, we're going to really bring this out a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about diversity. Okay? So I want you to check this out. This young man is Barry Brewer. Enjoy.
I grew up playing in church, man. Growing up in church, you as a musician, you get to see. You get to see different things being a musician because you get to go to black church. You get to go to white church. I got to play for a white church and go to their church, and white church is simple. They Jesus is simple. When the pastor bring his word, they chorus be simple. They chorus be real simple. For God so loved the world, this is the pastor's message, that he gave his only begotten son. Thank you, God, that whosoever believeth in him, you just have to believe, shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. And then it's the end of service. It's simple. Black people church different. Yeah. Put your hands together. He's been too good. To God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Put your hands together for Jesus. Thank you. Oh, Lord. White people like, their Jesus is angry.
I'm going to say that because you know what? When I was a Christian, that was the differentiator. Christian church, yeah, black church, yeah, white church, yeah, Catholic church, yeah, black church. It was interesting. When you become Muslim, you have the black Muslim church, you got the Bangladeshi Muslim church, you got the Pakistani Muslim church, you got the Turkish Muslim church, you got you got the Bosnian Muslim church, you got the Nation of Islam. You had so many. You had the Shiite church. You had so many masjids. I'm sorry, church. I'm calling them churches. See how it is, brothers and sisters? Maybe I'm missing home. Maybe that was a Freudian slip. But I'm saying, my structure is the same thing, man. We are split in so many. How many people do this? You choose where you want to go for Juma based on who's giving the kuppah. We had a brother in our neighbor in our community, his brother Mustafa, and he would list, we had 3 masjids. He would list who was giving the kuppah on 3 masjids. And I would literally be like, man, I don't know about so-and-so. He be going a little long. I don't know about so-and-so. He be missing stuff. And it's so the idea is like we do have our pecking orders, man. Like we 100% have our pecking orders. Now, the only thing that could be funnier is interfaith events. An interfaith event. I said it. That's when the Muslims go to a Baptist church or Catholic church or a synagogue and act like they ain't ready to leave the minute they get there. I had to do an assignment for my class, right, on Abrahamic faiths. One of the assignments was to go to a faith institution outside of your faith. I went to a synagogue, and you talk about the Muslim and you just jumping out like you wanted to correct everything. Excuse me. That's not what it says. Because you feel like you had to represent for all the Muslims not there. And then there was a black family there. There was a lady and her daughter. And I was looking at them. They were looking at me. And I was like, I'm leaving out of here just like I came in. I don't know about you, but I mean, and I think and I throw this out. The one thing I will say about Muslim services, about Muslim prayers, Friday prayers, is it may start at 1:30 and you have a shot of getting out of there by 2 o'clock, 2:15. You got a shot. This is Dr. Nasser. You ain't getting out no 2. Dr. Nasser be like, how much time you got? Because that's how much time I got. Dr. Nasser at 1:30, and he'll end the Isha. God bless him. He can go. You can tell him I said it. I don't care. But the Christian church is different. It starts at my mother would go at the 7 o'clock service. We go at 7 in the morning. The only reason we would go in the 7 in the morning is because we believe in our hearts. If we went at 7 in the morning, we might get out of there by 11. We might get out of there by 11. All right. And the funny part is, like, they had another service that would be at 11. Now, my dad hated to go to that 11 o'clock service, especially during football season. It would be all the black dads and Reverend Johnson be up there talking, and kickoff be at 1 o'clock, and he just be getting into the sermon. All right, what I want to talk to you about today, they'd be like, I'm out of here. But the funny part is, we're all that way. We love the community. We love the community. We love to go serve. We like to be around people, but we all have our own selfish needs, right? We want to make sure that religion fits in our time frames, for lack of a better word. And there's nothing wrong with that. You ain't gonna be religious all the time. Trust me, you ain't gonna be religious all the time. You may try. And that's the best thing you could do. But that's what makes it funny. I saw a clip of Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman went back to Egypt to get more information on the Muslims, and they took him to a masjid. And to hear the adhan. And the way they broke it down was like, this is the most beautiful sound a Muslim could hear, and da-da-da. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I don't know who decided it would be a good idea for Morgan Freeman to recite the adhan, but I'm here to tell you, go on National Geographic magazine, because he sounded like a manual transmission with no oil, no transmission fluid, in a desert, trying to say Allah. It was like, and the Muslims are like, oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. But there's, and I don't know if this is a thing. Every once in a while, you'll be at a masjid. And I guess it's the same. Like, there's no requirement in the Christian church, particularly the Baptist church. If you want to sing, you can sing. You don't have to get recommendations. You ain't got to audition. You don't have to have a sponsor. You don't have to read music. I don't even think you have to read the hymn book. But you can get up there and do your thing. You can get up and do your thing. I remember they had a guy. I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They had a guy. He was very flamboyant. Wink, wink. Very flamboyant. He was leading his choir. Now, the name of the song was called How Do You Spell Relief? Now, I don't know if he wrote it or not, but y'all know How Do You Spell Relief from Rolaids, right? Or was it Tums? Tums? How Do You Spell Relief? Whatever. Well, his song was called How Do You Spell Relief? And the answer was Jesus, but you would spell it out J-E-S-U-S. Simple, isn't it? For me, J-E-S-U-S. Now, I wasn't Muslim at the time. I was Christian, but I went to this service. And the guy was singing and getting to church, how do you spell relief? And everybody's like, he wouldn't let people say J-U-S. He goes, not right now, everybody. He's like, how do you spell relief? No, don't tell him now. And he goes, and finally he goes to spell, after they go, how do you spell relief? Brothers and sisters, he misspelled Jesus. How do you spell relief? J-H-U H-U-Z Jesus. I'm sorry, folks. These things are classics. Now, I have to get out of here because we're always at 30 minutes. But I think we're going to have to roll back because I had another clip of Richard Pryor. And I'm going to bring up one show. Let's just do a show. So, Tana, let's do a show on funny preachers, funny imams, funny rabbis. Tana's like, that's going to be a short show. What you going to do for the other 28 minutes? Oh, we got all the funniest thing. We get at least once we sewing shoes getting taken. We have to be like kindergarten kids and put our names. You got to clip your shoes to your sleeve, brothers and sisters. That's what it is. They'd be like, put your shoes in the bag. I'm like, nah, I'm going to put my shoes in a safe and handcuff it to my ankles. How do you steal shoes straight up off the rug? Like, they ain't no shoes. This happened to me. I was overseas, brothers and sisters, had on a fly pair. Hear me now. I had on a fly pair of Air Force Ones. It wasn't but, I don't know, 11 people in it wasn't even Juma. 11 people for like Asa prayer. And we walked out, and I'm like, who got my shoes? I walked in the parking lot. I saw a man. He was an elder. He had to be like 242 years old with a pair of Nike Air Force Ones, white as his beard. And he looked at me like, are these yours? I was like, wow, that's a damn shame. What is that? What we got, Sister Rabin? We haven't had a comment from you for a while. We first went to see our granddad in a remote town in Pakistan. Imam left a small masjid after Jummah with the rest of the congregation for Friday lunch. We went in and saw that he left the mic on. So being very young, having attended church school, and our Arabic being very limited, we decided to sing Lay Down My Sword and Shield. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside. That is hilarious. As we wanted to keep a religious vibe, our voices went far and wide around the town. And I think the residents thought that, we ran out of space. But I think that's hilarious. You know what else is hilarious? And I get out here, all the brothers at the masjid that want to give the younger brothers marital advice. And the only reason they feel they can give good quality marital advice is that they've been married like 6 times. I know about marriage. I've been married 6 times. I'm like, you don't know about marriage. You know about bad marriages. But my mother said, now we can confess that we replaced your fish that died every day. Fish store got lots of money. Oh! Well, I know one thing. Mr. Pollard killed my rabbit. Our neighbor, we went away on vacation. I had a pet rabbit, and when I came back, like the rabbit had died of diabetes. There was a lot of sugar around his carrot, and it was just no good. All right, Mom, thanks for that confession. I was wondering what was up with those fish, because one day the fish be like, heavy, and other fish be like lose weight, and I'm like, man, this fish got anorexia or something. What's going on with the fish? Is the weight up and down? Now I know what's happening. All right, listen. Let everybody get out to their weekends. Let's give a shout out to our sponsors, of course, BeFinancialIndependent.com. Again, that's BeFinancialIndependent.com. If you don't want to go to BeFinancialIndependent.com, call 1-800. You know the number, 1-800-679-3175. Again, that's 1-800-679-3175. That's right. All right, can we put Adam's comment back up? Groucho Marx. Marriage is a wonderful institution, but who wants to live in an institution? There you go. It does feel like that, because dudes talk about marriage like they've been doing time. Like, oh, man, how long you been married? Man, I've been down 19 years. I'm like, don't sound so happy. Harry Potter killed your rabbit? No. Gail Pollard killed my rabbit. And you can tell I put on the show. Like, he won't admit it, though. He had the rabbit doing all kinds of stuff, not doing rabbit things. All right. So we're going to give a shout out also to Bayan Islamic Graduate School. Again, that's Bayan Islamic Graduate School. If you are interested in a quality Islamic graduation, in a quality Islamic education at the graduate level, you want to give a look to Bayan Islamic Graduate School. Yours truly went there. Now I'm alumni, so I'm still hyping them up. And I would tell people, they have programs, they have remote programs, they have intensives. I would suggest everybody give them a shot, because it was really worth the time investment in my side. And they also have scholarships and grants. They'll work with you to help you get a quality Islamic education at the graduate level. You can do divinity, Islamic leadership, Islamic studies, or like I did, Islamic education. It's up to you. So that's it, brothers and sisters. We're about to bounce out of here. Have an incredibly, incredibly blessed weekend. If I don't see you Saturday and Sunday, inshallah, maybe I'll see you on Monday. If I don't, hey, keep a smile on your face. I'm Preacher Moss. This is a shout out show. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yo, assalamu alaikum. I'm Preacher Moss, comedian extraordinaire, but I like to add a new title to my name. I'm Professor Preacher Moss. You know why? Because I just graduated. Wait a minute, let me get this out of here. This is it. Okay. I'm Professor Preacher Moss, and it's come through the courtesy and the blessing of the Muhammad Ali Scholarship, which came through Bayan Islamic Graduate School. Now, listen, I know a lot of you people are thinking, can I do it? Yes, you can do it. This is the part where I'm supposed to say it's easy. It's not easy. Listen, it was easy to get this degree. Trump would be a mufti. I digress. Listen, though, for you brothers and sisters that are interested, go to bayanonline.org, and you could be like me. Put yourself in the picture for Islamic education. Wait a minute, there's the picture right there. Sound like them, everybody. Take care. Preach them all.